And we're back. Day 3 on the inaugural Advanced Weapons Technology Summit. Again, my name is Abramson, Senior Vice President for Strategic Engagement for the National Armaments Consortium, where we collaborate, innovate, and dominate. Today, we're back for another series of discussions with some thought leaders that have been attending and participating in our first and our inaugural Advanced Weapons Technology Summit, currently here in Huntsville, Alabama. This summit has been awesome. We've had over 700 registrants. We're going to have 60 government briefed requirements at the tune of about $4.5 billion worth of opportunities within the government. Today, I have with me Dr. Marta Pazos. Thank you for joining us today and having a quick conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Al.
Thank you, thank you. And so your title is Critical Chemicals Portfolio Lead for DPAI. Can you explain what DPAI is and how you fit within the larger Department of Defense organization?
Absolutely. So DPAI, or Defense Production Act investments, it's part of MSIP, which is the Manufacturing Capability Expansion and Investments Prioritization, which is part of OUSD A&S.
Okay.
So what we do is we run with authorities such as DPA Title III, which is one of the ones that we use the most, and that is Defense Production Act Title III, which is the authority that enables the President of the United States to have the nation prepare for defense.
Wow, great. And so we've been utilizing, the United States, we've kind of been utilizing this act, these authorities, early, but more recently since COVID. Is that correct?
It's sort of correct.
Okay.
So the authority actually dates back from 1950.
Yes.
And it was established by President Truman during his second term.
Okay, very good.
To prepare the nation for the Korean War.
Okay,
because we had just come out of World War II.
Yeah, sure.
And we, by all accounts, we were victorious in that. But there was the general realization that the country was not fully organized.
Right.
So the Defense Production Act, Title III, was created for that exact reason, to organize the country to be prepared for defense.
For defense. Okay, so you've spoken earlier today. You had a great speech, listened to the speech, but there were some key points that I pulled out that I thought was pretty interesting. You talked about chemicals were the fabric of everyday lives. I really did like that. And then, so that being the case, which I agree with you wholeheartedly, talk a little bit about that journey from chemicals of everyday lives and how they apply to the Department of Defense and getting after capabilities. That's a long one, but if you can,
please.
Please.
Absolutely. That is a long one, but it is right into my heart, my DNA, and in everything I do. I am a chemist. And as I mentioned during my opening remarks, chemistry really fuels our daily lives. Without the chemical industry, the mundane things, the routine things that we do would not be possible. So, and one very interesting fact about myself, actually, that applies very well to this, is that most of my career was in consumer products. I entered the defense sector later on. Especially if you compare to a lot of the people that have been in the defense industry for years, right? They get formed like right out of school, and then they retire from defense. And I realized when I started in this role, which was a couple of years ago, that the chemicals that the energetics groups and subject matter experts were pointing at as critical and chemicals that we needed to have being manufactured onshore were the same chemicals that I had been using in cosmetics,
on the commercial side,
in packaging. So I realized right then and there that we had such a great opportunity to aggregate that demand, and instead of like having chemicals being made for every specific application by different companies, the same companies could make them all to different specifications. And that way, with that aggregated demand, we could successfully compete with our external adversaries.
So you talk about opportunities, you talk about aggregated demand, and so let me tie that into what we're doing here, and so try to kind of tie into some of your initial impressions about this inaugural Advanced Weapons Technology Summit and the goodness of that to get after some of those things that you highlighted. Any thoughts?
I like to open with the disclaimer of, I'm not just saying this because you're asking.
Yes.
I truly believe that this has been one of the most cooperative and successful events that I have been able to attend.
That's great.
In a couple of days, and in fact, I still remember in like even just an hour walking from point A to point B.
Yes.
I stopped to talk to somebody, then I saw somebody else. Those two didn't know each other, and 5 minutes later, they were exchanging cards.
Power of collaboration.
The power of collaboration.
Sure.
And I believe that very strongly that as humans do the things that we do for one reason, because we can.
Right.
We can collaborate.
Correct.
And this is a perfect example of how we can get it done.
Very good, very good. So day 3 again, and you've been here since day 1. Is there any message that really resonated with you in terms of what we need to make sure that we're carrying forward, or you're going to carry forward when we go back to our own offices and go back into our enterprises, so to speak? But has there been one message that stands out of all from these 3 days that's really stick with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And during many years that I have been consulting for the energetics industry, I realized that this industry was very closed off to the rest of the other ones.
Sure.
For very good reasons, of course. It's national security after all. But we don't have to be secretive about everything that we do.
Correct.
There are certain things that we have in common with all those other commercial applications and industries.
Correct.
So what I have noticed for the first time in one of these events, which is very much for networking after all, is that people are finally realizing about that, and they are making an effort to put those pieces together and really come for the common good of the country, and at the end of the day, to be really independent, particularly of our adversaries, which we very strongly depend on right now for our supply chains.
Very good.
So my passion is in chemistry and in onshoring chemicals domestically, because I believe that is the one way that we, the United States, can really become that undoubtedly number one superpower in the world.
Yes,
and
correct.
I think that this is the first time, so that's the message that I got from the event, and that's the message that I would like to continue carrying on once we leave here, by really nurturing those connections and making bear the fruit that we are planning to do here. So myself, I am committed to do that. So my commitment coming out of here is that I will take those business cards. I will take, honestly, and I'll tell you what, gladly, people don't have business cards anymore. We just text each other on the go, and that way we don't lose it. I will personally, I have been already creating a list of all the to-do things that I will start doing on Sunday.
Very good. On Sunday?
On Sunday.
You're going to take just a day off.
I'm taking
1 day
off
and back to it.
Yes.
Well,
yes, I am so excited about it, and there's so many things that so many great things that can come out of this. Imagine this country in a way that we are developing technologies to make chemicals, applying those technologies to companies that are currently making those chemicals, chemicals, but in a more obsolete way,
Sure.
modernize those facilities, include the power of biomanufacturing,
Sure.
which is something that we are right now also developing very strongly, and create a healthy supply of chemicals onshore that can be used in defense and else.
Multifunctional capabilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Doesn't that sound fantastic?
It is. Better living through chemistry. That's what I remember a high school teacher told me one time.
But so to those that are watching, thank you for watching. Please join us on our National Armaments Consortium website, or join us on our NAC LinkedIn account. And if you have any questions, please shoot them our way, and we'll get those answered. Until next time, collaborate, innovate, and dominate.
Thank you, Marta, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Al.
It's been pretty good.
Thank you.